you're putting a cell phone tower where you already have what appears to be dense coverage.
There's coverage in the areas Mr. Mitchell has indicated. When you're building sites, it's not just for coverage, it's for capacity. You have more and more users on the network. So the network is stressed. There's only so much capacity upon which a caller can generate a phone call or access the network for purposes of downloading something. You're talking about a very narrow bandwidth. So in order for those users to access the network, you need more sites today than you did 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
But to Mr. Yeager's point, I never hear anybody complain about Verizon not having coverage in Cecil Township. It's, I won't name names, but there are other carriers that struggle in our township, but Verizon never seems to be one of them.
All I'll say is that Verizon really believes in its network, and they're ahead of the curve when it relates to technological advancements. They're looking 5 years ahead and 10 years ahead. And as you have more users coming onto the system and dropping off of a landline, it stresses the network. So there is a need. There is a need for coverage to be improved in this area for a user on the system to access the network.
For a future user, is what
Now,
you're saying.
it's not just future users, current users as well. Yes, sir.
So what about the technological advances that you guys have? They're not going to keep pace with increased usage? I mean, again, 4G compared to 2G compared to 1G. I mean,
There's an impact. I mean, there is an impact, and every day the network has challenges. I'm not an engineer. I just know that.
but relating it to a computer, okay? You buy a computer, 18 months from now it's obsolete, right? What's to say 4G technology isn't going to be obsolete in 18 months? You're going to have something better. Now all of a sudden you have this communication tower here with a 25-year lease that we're going to live next to for the rest of my natural life, probably.
Well, and one of the good things about the ordinance is that to the extent that the tower is not functioning and becomes obsolete, there's a requirement that it comes down. So,
And what's the cost of that? And that's
To
been built into your budget already?
to dismantle a tower, we'll provide a bond. So if we're not around and we shop with Verizon.
So who here on the board is going to be around to say in 5 years, we're going to do another study to say whether this tower is required?
Well, there is a requirement that we have to comply with.
Again, who here of the board, do we have a licensed professional electrical engineer or a systems communication engineer that's licensed in the state of Pennsylvania that's going to sit down with these folks and talk the same language, down till frequency band, effective irradiated power? Is there anybody qualified that we have? Do we even have anybody we can get on the phone and call?
We would be trying to determine that anyway. They're the ones who would decide if it's not being used, it would have to come down there.
If they've got a lease with some other communication company, why would they take a tower down when they're going to be making money renting a tower out?
No question they wouldn't.
Right.
But if it becomes obsolete where they're not using it, then they'd have to take it down.
And who's going to make that determination? They are. Nobody here is qualified to do that.
All that I'll say is, I hate to date myself, but having worked in this industry for almost 25 years, I've only seen one site to come to take that, and that was
You're
right
going to be
outside.
making money renting a tower.
Well, actually,
To other users.
in this case, Verizon is a tenant on the tower. Tower code does have the ability to lease it, but, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, it is a commercial enterprise. It is for profit. I do agree with that.
Exactly.
So if I could just continue and just finish up with the specific criteria contained in the ordinance, I think that leaves us with just a couple other requirements. The site is an unmanned facility. There's no water nor sewage associated with the facility. What's housed on the property is just simply electronic radio equipment. So the tower facility will not include any other uses other than communications tower facility uses. The FCC license we've supplied, and the other criteria are just requirements. As you know, if the tower becomes unusable within a period of time, the tower should be removed by the responsible party, and we've agreed to comply with that provision. I believe that addressed the specific criteria. The only other thing is noted in here is that the site be secured with a chain link fence, and we've provided a detail for purposes of only those users should have access to that. It's an 8 feet high chain link fence. The details provided in the plans. Tim, did I miss anything?
Where did you get 8 feet?
Yes,
Where did you get the 8 feet?
8 feet is set forth in the, and Tim's going to have to keep me honest here, but it is 8 feet. That's, yeah, Tim.
Per the ordinance section 1212, the ordinance requires an 8-foot fence, which we designed for. Again, every item in the ordinance we designed for the ordinance.
I'm looking at Gateway letter
Yes.
of November 18th. It says that no fence shall be more than 6 feet in height, no barbed wire is permitted.
Yes, we brought that up at one of the previous 4 hearings, that there's a discrepancy in the ordinance. We'd be happy to adhere to the one you'd like, but we adhere to the communication section of ordinance 1212.
And that is 8 feet?
That is 8 feet, yes.
But we'd be happy, we do any size fence you like, but we told Gateway this. We're going to hear it 1212 when he says that.
Okay, I understand.
8 feet is generally more industry standard. 6 feet, you might get some traffic there, but. And that's all we have. We're here to answer whatever questions you might have.
I have a question. How many people in that quarter-mile radius? Wait,
Excuse me, ma'am, hold on 1 second, please.
We're going to get to those residents. He's not going anywhere. If you're done with that, your presentation,
We are.
I think right off the bat, if any of the board members want to follow up with their questions.
Yeah, I have a number of questions. First of all, I'm going back to the same question that I asked at the last hearing. It was not answered satisfactorily, or at least I didn't understand it. Who made the list of who was to be notified for the last hearing?
What we did is when we supplied the information, we worked with our engineering crew and they supplied us with the information they got off of the Washington County maps. We've since corrected that.
All right, who made the list for this hearing?
My office did this time,
Okay.
yes.
I don't think that's totally true. We saw sign, a lot of the people that are here signed their name and address on the paper. That's how most of the people got their notice this time. The last hearing we were at, the last meeting, at the regular township meeting, we passed the tablet around. And I know by how I put my name on there and how my son put his name on there, how we got our letter. In fact, I got 2 of them.
Mr. Stark can address any of those questions, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'd like to speak to this. This was the biggest topic at the last meeting, and we kind of put the brakes on, took a step back, and said, let's do this right, because some people missed their notice. We made our surveyor identify all properties within 300 feet of the parent parcel. So he highlighted that on page R1 of your revised plans. I dropped about 8 sets off for about 100 pounds of paperwork, so you all should have 8 sets.
Is that okay?
What did you say?
Yes, yeah, I'll give you a full set.
What was highlighted where?
On page R1 of the revised plans.
I don't think they have a large set that, Tim. Maybe it'll be
This is
more
in color,
instructive to
this
see the
picture says
large
1,000 words.
Well, my concern was why I was notified last time. I got 2 notices, and this time we got none.
On January 7th, I gave Mr. Bosley this certification from our engineer. And the red line indicates our surveyor certifies that all the properties within 300 feet. So I went in clockwise with it.
Now, wait a minute, when you're running your finger down,
Yes.
within 300 feet of what?
This parent parcel owned by James herself.
Okay, so you're saying that the dotted red line on the drawing is what?
Yes,
What?
first I go over the Osella property. This is on the back. This is the Osella property. And this is every parcel certified by our surveyor that's within 300 feet of the edge of the parcel.
When you
Not
say
just the
this,
top.
when you say this, you're talking about the red dotted line,
Yes,
and can you identify what that number is?
the quantity of homes?
No, the R1, the sheet R1 radius map. So that the red dotted line on the R1 radius map is all property owners within 300 feet of
Parcel, the parent parcel.
the parent parcel. Okay,
This is that, we want notification the first time or second?
This is the second.
second time.
First time, I'm not sure exactly what happened. The second time we made our surveyor certified, personally dropped off 8 cents here at the office, and I personally drove them up the gateway, and gave them a electronic ticket.
And I think that our property is right there.
And what is it saying? If I can get my bearings. Cumer Road is right there. I was supposed to be going this way.
Turn around, like, what's
North is that.
correct. Correct, and our property is right there, right where I pointed. Okay.
And one of the challenges we face, not just within Washington County, are the tax maps oftentimes are inaccurate. So to the extent that there, to the extent that there is any failure to notify, there's not much more of the applicant can do other than to go to an engineer and provide that information. In addition, I know the township requires that the property is posted. So there's a safeguard relative to posting the property in addition to the notice. And that's why we agreed to extend the hearing, waive all time limitations relative to our application.
Okay. Next question I have is on the Exhibit B.